says that on the screen.
Yes, it is.
Does it? Okay, good. All right, you guys. We're going to have a dynamite guy for you to learn from today. Is my hair right? Ronald Heagy Jr. is a man that motivates and inspires me, let me tell you. This guy, I'll give you a little background, some of you know this. In the most infinitesimal, tiny way, I understand a little bit about this fellow and what motivates him. Because at age 34, I had a heart attack and they gave me 6 months to live and said, you're a dead man, you're gone, you're through, you have no value to society. And I actually had a doctor tell me to put my affairs in order and get ready to die. Now, let me tell you something. I know what it did to me. I know what it did to my psyche. I know how angry and bitter I got. Can you imagine what would happen if you were this 17-year-old young kid who had the world ahead of him? He had a football scholarship. He was bright. He was smart. He had power to impact the world. And to have an accident that makes him a quadriplegic. I understand a little bit about what he went through in his heart. And the depression you get, and the frustration you get, and the anger you get, and the bitterness you get. And this guy had the courage to overcome that and become somebody that's really contributing to society, that's doing a lot for the world. I teach entrepreneurship. Most people think entrepreneurs must be rich people. These are people that have a lot of money. There are many types of entrepreneurs, some of them we call social entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs who use their entrepreneurial talent to impact the world. This guy is doing that right now. He's causing good things to happen in the world because, not that he's handicapped, because he's got a mind and a heart and a soul that works like hell. He does fantastic stuff. This guy, in my opinion, is not handicapped. I look at it, handicaps in a different way. People are not handicapped who are achieving good in the world. I'm just absolutely proud to have Ron Heagy here at LMU and let you have a chance to absolutely listen from him, or listen to him and be motivated. So come on in, Ron.
Thank you. What an introduction that was. I'm feeling pretty good after that introduction. In fact, I woke up this morning and I was breathing. It's a good way to wake up, don't you think? And I said to myself, it's going to be a good day. Oh man, I hear people say, don't bug me, dude. I woke up on the wrong side of bed. What's that? An excuse to be ugly? I woke up on the wrong side of bed. You know, I'm here to just tell you that life is an attitude. Oh yeah, life is an attitude. Your attitude will determine your direction. It'll determine the kind of life you have. Now, pop a bad attitude and see what happens. You wouldn't say your life's so good. I travel all over the country. I speak to millions of people, and I speak to a lot of teenagers. Why do I speak to teenagers? I don't know. No, I do know why I speak to teenagers. Because they're the future. And their attitude stinks for the most part. And these people are going to lead the nation. They're going to make decisions for me, and I don't want them to decide that I'd be better off to be hamburger. I hope to have an impact on my nation among the teenagers. It wasn't but a month or so ago, I was before 4,000 teenagers. Now this is nothing compared to 4,000 teenagers with a whole lot of hormones going on. And I'm behind the curtain and the principal's prep talk to me. And he says, Mr. Heagy, you understand we don't have school assemblies anymore. And I said, I didn't know that. He says, no, our kids, they just don't listen to speakers. Oh, really? Well, isn't that what I'm about to do, is go out there and speak? He said, yes, sir. I said, well, why are you telling me this? Just preparing you. I said, well, thanks a lot. Why do you have me here if you're not having any more school assemblies? He said, well, we heard that you were good. Oh, thanks for that pressure too. You know, what's he telling me this stuff for? And I'm starting to feel a bit nervous. And he introduces me. And not a soul is listening to his introduction of Ron Heagy. Curtains open up and I roll through with my chin-operated wheelchair. I mean, I drive it with my chin. That's why it's called chin control. Get it? Chin. And I roll out there to the microphone, and this rowdy group of 4,000 teenagers went completely silent. You could hear a pin drop. And I just glanced across the crowd. Why are they so quiet? What changed? What changed the atmosphere? Well, I probably, I think it's because they weren't expecting their speaker to be strapped up in a wheelchair, his arms tied down, operating it by his chin. They didn't expect to see me like this. And I spoke for 45 minutes, and you could hear a pin drop the entire session. And when I was finished speaking, they lined up to talk to me about their stuff. Well, what do you want to talk to me about your stuff for? I've got enough of my own stuff. Well, that's what it's all about. It's sharing how we overcome. See, in our nation today, we're really not overcomers. And we don't really publicize overcomers. We publicize folks that do negative things. I'm so sick and tired of watching the news and hearing about this, that, this killing, that killing. As a matter of fact, I talked to one of the young boys who was involved with murdering another student. And I said, what were you thinking? I mean, did you want to be a murderer? Is that your goal in life? No, Mr. Heagy. I said, then why did you do such a terrible thing? He said, well, you gotta admit, I was a nobody, and now I'm a somebody. Have you seen me in the newspaper? Did you see me on the news? This is appalling. Is that what it takes in our nation to get noticed? Do something stupid? It seems to be. You probably haven't seen me on CNN, although I've spoken to 2 million teenagers. You have no idea the impact I've had. Well, maybe you can see it. Go to goaround.com and read my guest book. Thousands of entries from students who have heard my speech. So here I am at this school, and they're lining up afterwards. You know who else was in the line? Oh, there was a group of gangbanger guys right down here in front. And they were taunting me during my speech. One kid at the beginning looks up and says, give me a break, this dude's a loser. You talking to me? I want to mess him up, but I maintain control of myself. Well, I knew what he needed. He needed to hear what I had to say. So I kept speaking. And before you know it, he's out on the edge of his seat, just sucking it up. And when I was finished, he was one of the kids in line to talk to me. You can't believe some of the things I hear. It's like I share my life. It's an open book. You see it. You got to deal with it. And all of a sudden, they feel like they want to share their disability. Oh, by the way, we all have a disability. We all have a limitation. We all have something we have to deal with. But because we live in America, we hide our problems. Maybe that's why folks turn their back when I'm around. Maybe that's why it's tough to face me, because you got to see my stuff. I cannot hide my stuff. But I'm going to present to you that if you take your stuff, your problems, your pain, and your past, and use them effectively, you can change the future. And it's stuff that makes you a better person, stronger. So this young man walks up. He puts his arm on my shoulder. He put his hand on my shoulder. He touched me. Do you know what that means for a gangbanger? I mean, probably the last time he did that, he hurt somebody pretty bad. He crossed that boundary, you know, personal bubble, connected. And he said, Mr. Heagy, what you said changed my life. Now I'm thinking to myself in my own feeble mind, how can this change somebody's life? You know, one speech changes somebody's life. And then I think back over the times when I heard speakers, and I remember a few that changed my whole thinking. And that's what it means to change someone's life, to change their thinking, how they see themselves, how they see their society, how they view their future. Are you excited about your life? Or do you wake up and say, this is going to be a terrible day? You know, when he spoke, it really touched my heart. I get touched. I get touched big time. When he told me that he had done some terrible things, and he realized by my speaking that he has the choice. See, life is about choices. You can let an opportunity pass by. You can never regain that opportunity. You can find another opportunity. But most of us are here because we chose to be here, right? Your choices affect your future. And he was saying how he made choices to do stupid things because of, well, he blamed his past. He blamed his father. He blamed people. We got to quit blaming people for our stuff. We got to take responsibility. You can't change the stuff. You can change the way that you look at your stuff. When he was done communicating with me about what I did for him, he gave me a hug. You know what? It's incredible. His buddies were around back there in the back watching, probably going to excommunicate him from the gang for doing such fluffy stuff. But this boy's life was changed, and he went out, and he did something with his life. Now that might mean that he won't destroy my daughter's life. That might mean he won't take some other student's life. And that may mean that he'll change the entire course of history. Does that make my life valuable? Man, that just juices me up. Because if I can have an impact on one person's life, and they go and they touch other people's lives, I've left something behind. My life was valuable. I left a legacy. You see, I've got an opinion. My opinion is this. I really don't want to make $1 million and not be happy. I would rather touch 1 million people's lives. Because someday I'll lay in my deathbed and I'll look back over my life and I'll say to myself, what did you accomplish? What difference did your life make? Well, I could say I have $1 million sitting in the bank. Hey, big deal. If that's all you got, big deal. Because I have a master's degree in social work, and I've counseled hundreds of people. And people fight over the money you leave behind. They get mad at you for not leaving enough for them. It's amazing to me what money does. Now, money is something that we need, don't get me wrong. But wouldn't you rather say, I touched 1 million people's lives? I left a legacy behind. I made a difference. My life truly counted for something. There was a time in my life when I was arrogant and proud and stuck on myself. I walked around with my big muscles thinking I was really cool. Of course, I'm in high school, and everybody in high school is supposed to be cool. I hurt people. I didn't really like myself, you know what I mean? But you looked at me, and you thought, dude's got it together. That wasn't true. I didn't have it together. I had a scholarship. I was looking forward to playing football for Oregon State University. I remember a few things in my life that I regret. The times that I should have helped somebody, didn't. The times that I knew, you feel in your heart and soul you should do this, but you don't. You don't get involved. And every time I feel that now, I go for it. And it turns out to be a wonderful thing. Whenever I can get involved with a person's life, it's a huge investment. And there I was one sunny afternoon. I was on spring break. It was my senior year of high school. I decided to leave my home in Oregon and go to Huntington Beach, California, not far from here, and do what they call surfing. Of course, you've heard about surfing. It's funny where I speak, some places they don't know much about surfing. But my little brother, he heard about it. He said, I want to go with you. I said, you gotta be kidding me. You're 13 years old, I'm 17. You'll stump my style, I got to be cool. I can't take you with me. He says, come on, I want to go. Spring break, man, you going to California? I mean, let me go. I said, let me tell you what. You go wash and wax my car and clean my bedroom and do my chores. I'll think about it. He was stupid. He went and did all that. He came back, and I pat him on the head and said, looks good, but you can't go. He got ticked off, rightfully so. He went to my father and said, Dad, this is what Ron made me do. My dad walked up to me and he said, son, he's bigger than I am. Hey, Dad. But it's the truth. And he says, you can't go without your little brother. So I'm on the beach the next day. It wasn't such a bad thing being with my brother. He's my only brother. You see, my focus was off. My perspective, my attitude was off. I didn't care much about faith, family, friends, which are the three ingredients to life, I believe. I was more into self. Looking good, feeling good. But like I said earlier, I didn't feel so good on the inside. And here I am on the beach that morning. And I remember my brother and I were laying in the sunshine, kicked back on our towels, talking about nothing. Just enjoying the day. And all of a sudden, he falls asleep and I'm flexing some muscles, thinking to myself, the football career I got going and what I'm going to do. You know, when I got out of bed that morning, it was a day that I said to myself, this is going to be a great day. The sun came through the window. I had no idea when I stepped onto the floor it'd be the last time I get myself out of bed or bathe myself. Brush my own teeth, comb my hair, shave my face. Pet a dog, run a race, climb a tree, shake somebody's hand. Hug my mom. Oh, did I tell you I left my mom standing on the sidewalk when I left? She wanted a hug, but I didn't hug her. I was ticked off, thinking of myself. Because they made me think of my brother. That was my last chance to hug my own mom. For 20 years, my arms have longed to hug my mom. We don't know what we have until we lose it. I took life for granted. Did you think I knew it'd be in a wheelchair? No. If somebody would have said, Ron, you're going to end up in a wheelchair, I said, not me. Maybe somebody else, but not me. 2 weeks before this happened to me, I was at a concert. I watched a young man be wheeled in, me and my girlfriend. I got all bummed out. I was watching this kid, staring at him, because that's what I did too. I had my biases about disability. He went right by me and looked up and caught my eyes, made eye contact. And my girlfriend nudged me and said, what's the matter? I said, see that kid in that wheelchair? I'm standing with my Leatherman's jacket on, all my medals, 6'2". I said, if I was like that kid, I'd just want to die. Just die. 2 weeks later, I'm on the beach, got no idea what's about to happen. You can't control circumstances or situations. They happen. Life happens. But you can control how you handle it, or how you look at it, and how you go on. And a lot of times people, they don't go on, they give up. They get a negative attitude. They get bitter. Well, you can do that. Or you can get better. Positive attitude. Pick it up. Move on. Be a better person. I had no idea I was going to face this type of tragedy, but I remember being so hot there. My brother was fast asleep. I walked to the water's edge to cool my body. Stood there for the last time. A wave approached me, a shore breaker, and I thought to myself, that's my wave. I made a stupid choice. Life is about choices. You can make a choice, but remember, there's always consequences to your choice. Good or bad, there's consequences. You choose the outcome a lot of times by your choice. I dove into the shallow water, and when I went into that wave, it curled and it munched me big time. And I went straight to the bottom. It was like I dove into a waterfall. And when I hit the bottom, my head snapped back at my shoulder blades. And my huge neck, muscles don't matter. Everyone can be destroyed. I broke my neck. And when I broke my neck, my spinal cord was severed and my body shut off. Like a light switch, it was off. And I was floating under the water, deeper and deeper out to sea. And I was ready to make some deals with God. But don't forget the spiritual side of your life too. That connects you with people. But I'm under the water thinking to myself, I'm only 17 years old. I don't want to die. Hey God, I'm too young to die. Well, death does not care how old you are. That's why I woke up this morning and said, this is going to be a good day. This is going to be my last day. Now, what do I want to leave behind? What do I want to say I accomplished today? Hopefully I do with the right attitude. And hopefully it involves people. Well, I got to the point I couldn't hold my breath any longer. So I've got to breathe in. When you go unconscious, you automatically breathe in. And just about going unconscious, my little brother was sleeping on the beach. I mean, you call it what you want, it's a miracle. He was sleeping on the beach, and he had no idea. He'd never saved anybody's life. He's 13, weighs 110 pounds. I'm 200 pounds. He knew something, just in spirit, was wrong. And he got up off his towel. Didn't delay a second. If he would have waited a second, it would have been too late. I was sucked in the salt water. He found my body floating out to sea, out there 25 feet or so, at the bottom. How'd he find me? And he pushed me to the surface, just in time. And I laid on the beach 20 minutes later, looking this brother in the eyes. The brother I didn't want to take with me. I don't want my brother. Don't make me take my brother. If it wasn't for my brother, I'd be dead. You see, I was under the opinion that, I didn't need nobody. Independence is the key. No, independence in my book is wrong. Interdependence, that's the key. That means I need you and you need me. Together we accomplish great things. But not independence. Independence pushes people away. My brother and I laid there on the beach. And all of a sudden, the ambulance took me away. I went into shock and woke up the following day. As I looked at the nurse, she asked me a few questions, and one of them was if I knew what day it was. I said, ma'am, I'm not sure. She said, it's March 18th. I began to cry because that was my 18th birthday that day. So here I am, 18 years old, completely paralyzed from the neck down. What am I going to do now? My entire past is over. There's no way I'm going to play football. Well, I got news for everybody. I was going to get better. I'm not going to be in a wheelchair. Remember that kid? I had my opinions about wheelchairs, people in them. I decided to just press on as hard as it was. I would move forward one day at a time and get better. Well, obviously it didn't happen. So what did? Well, the sad day came when they told me, the doctors and the therapists, that there was no chance of recovering movement in my arms or legs. And that they were going to discharge me the following weekend. You got no idea what those words meant. I couldn't believe they were talking like that. Wait a minute, can't you do some therapy or something? I mean, medication, surgery. I can't feed myself. I can't go home like this. I'll be a burden to society. And I began to get depressed because my thinking was stinking. And stinking thinking will get you sinking. Call that depression. My perspective was off. Boom. I focused on the problem. And when you focus on the problems of life, you get down, depressed. You don't get better. You get bitter. And I laid there in my hospital bed that night and I said, I give up. There's the answer. Give up. I remember yelling out loud. I got vile and ugly. See what happens when you get the right attitude? And I heard a voice say my name. It really, it scared me. Because I thought I was alone in my room. It was about midnight. The door was shut. Nobody came in. It was dark. I'm just crying. I'm so sad, so depressed. And this little voice was coming from my roommate. His name was Jimmy. Jimmy made a choice too in life. He decided to take his helmet off when his mom wasn't looking. And that was the day he munched his head against the pavement. It was brain damaged. He was in a coma for 6 weeks. When they brought him out of the coma, or when he came out of the coma, they brought him in my room to be my roommate. I didn't want him in there. I had a hard enough time with myself. And this night, 2 weeks after they brought him in my room, he says his first word. He wasn't supposed to be able to talk, but he heard me giving up on life, you see. And he said, Ron, I sniffed up my tears of pity. And I looked over there. I couldn't see him. And I said, Jimmy, is that you? And Jimmy told me that night that he loved me. And there was something about those words. I can still hear them echo in the chambers of my mind. How could he love me? I'm asking myself. He doesn't know me. Yeah, he lay there for 2 weeks listening to my family dream a little dream with me. Read, talk about what I was going to accomplish once I got out of the hospital. And then he heard me that night giving up, saying, I want to die. reason to go on. Hey, there's always a reason to go on. You just got to find it. And when he said those words, it opened up my mind. And I said, you know what? I'm still a man. I'm still Ronald Heagy. I got soul, spirit. My body may not be working, but I'm still pretty special. If he can love me, then I ought to be able to love him. And quit thinking I'm all ripped off, all mad at God and everybody. I've got to move forward. You see, the first part about being successful in life is to have determination and drive. And right there, at that very moment, I got my drive, my determination. It's a mindset. It's an attitude. I want to accomplish something. Not sure what I'm going to accomplish, but I'm driven. I've got determination to do something. That's where you start. And I left that hospital, and I began to dream a bit. I imagine things. What if? And so I started to try. Oh, I try a little this, try a little that. I decided that I needed to learn how to write. How are you going to write when you don't have the use of your hands? Well, put a pencil in my mouth. Let me try it that way. You see, guys like myself, or girls like you, when you hit a barrier, they don't give up. We figure out another way around. Can't jump them hurdles that way? How about another way? That's what we're talking about. Put a pencil in my mouth, I try it hard. Ooh, doesn't look so good. Put my handwriting before it didn't look so good either, so hey. I kept trying. Before you know it, able to write. I decided I'm going to go to college. How are you going to go to college? I got a pencil. One day at a time. Went through a community college. Hey, I'll go on for a 4-year degree. We're not going to support that. That's okay. You don't have to. Do you know how much work that's going to be? It's tough enough with 2 hands, let alone 1 mouth. That's okay. I made it through a 4-year education, counseling, psychology. Well, I got out of that, did a little teaching, decided to go on for a master's degree. Oh, really? How are you going to do that? Same way I did the other ones. Well, we're not going to support it. That's okay. I couldn't get any funding. And one man came along and said, you know what, you inspire me. Could you use $5,000? Never seen that kind of money. You got me through the first year there. Oh, I had to figure out ways to make a little extra money. Decided, look at the newspaper, buy an old car, find an old teenager that wanted to learn, get it all cleaned up, sell it the next weekend, make $500-600. I sold about 31 cars to get myself through my master's degree. Pretty amazing. I figured it out. I watched MacGyver. I figured it out. Well, so here I am, graduated from San Diego State University with a master's degree. I was the only guy in the chair that rolled up on that stage. They had to build me a ramp. It cost them a lot of money. I like that. As I rolled onto the stage and they put a microphone in front of my face to say something, you know, why do I have to say something? Why is it so amazing to everybody that I accomplished a master's degree? Look at all my classmates. What about them? I'm no different than you. I may have to jump hurdles differently. I might write with my mouth. And some of you need to try it that way, but we all do things that we should be recognized for, and you don't have to pat me on the back. I mean, I understand the triumph of the human spirit. It's noteworthy, and that's good. But I remember looking out over the crowd as they stood in their feet and the cameras were there. I wasn't thinking to myself, you're a great guy. You gotta be proud. Been there, done that, paid the price. I said to myself, it would be amazing if everyone out there would put into practice their talents and their gifts, their abilities, and be all that they could be, and not give up, and not tell themselves, I'm no good, or hear them voices. Don't listen to those voices. You have to dream a bit, have an imagination. With that drive behind an imagination, you can accomplish things, amazing things. So I get out of there, I get married. She married me just like this. Who'd she fall in love with? Wasn't my body. Good thing, because bodies disappear. They get ugly. I mean, you know, I look at my dad, he used to have muscles, now he's got a belly. You know, they disappear, things go bad. It's who we are on the inside. So I get married, and now I got a family situation going on, and I've got to get a job. Well, I have a master's degree. I worked hard. Who wouldn't be proud of that? Come on in. 20 different interviews. No one would hire me. Well, why not? I don't know. They couldn't get past my wheelchair. So now what am I going to do? I'm married. I got to pay some bills. I thought, you know, I don't want to be on welfare. So I decided to start my own job. What are you going to do, Ron? Well, geez, you know, I can still speak. As a matter of fact, I was invited to go back to my old high school and give a little talk. I went to the school. I was scared to death to do my first speech. I rolled out there in front of all them kids. I really didn't know what to say. Decided just to share, just like I'm doing today. I don't have a planned speech today, I'm just sharing. And when I was finished, they clapped. They were glad I came. And then the school wrote me out a check. And I said, this could be a job. That was thousands of schools ago, 2 million students later. And I kept thinking, man, I could do more if I want to. What will I do next? Well, I began to paint. If I can write, I can paint. So with a paintbrush in my teeth, I started doing some oil paintings. Amazing. Never tried that before. Never painted a picture in my life. But I put my mind to it. I have the right attitude. You'll have to see the paintings up here on your way out. Well, somebody said to me, Mr. Heagy, you're speaking and you're traveling. You got so much to say. Have you thought about writing a book? I could write a book. I just have to find somebody to help. And before you know it, I've got a book published. It's in 3 languages. And it's a good book. Guess what the title is? Life is an Attitude. What's it about? It's my autobiography. About my trials. You have no idea some of the things I've experienced. I don't tell everything publicly. Well, what else are you gonna do? I don't know. There's gotta be more. I'm feeling driven. I'm feeling motivated. I've got some enthusiasm. So I ended up talking to some kids one day. These kids were in wheelchairs and had different disabilities. And I said to them, what's one thing you wish you could do in life? And they'd say, well, I'd like to be able to get a job. I'd like to be able to go to camp. I said, go to camp? I hear that everywhere I go. There's got to be camps. I did some research. I was sad. There was less than 10 wheelchair accessible camps in America. You got to be kidding. Well, somebody needs to build more camps, I was thinking. I said, hey, I don't have a lot of money. I'll touch a million kids, but maybe somebody out there's a millionaire and like to get this vision of building a camp. Yeah, I ended up being the man with that vision, so I want to be the man to build the camp. Well, hey, God sent a millionaire my way. How about 1 million people with $1? That's a lot more work. That's the way it's worked so far. So I ended up, I've never built a camp. I got no idea what it's like to be a general contractor. But just this last summer, after 2 years of work, I got 40 acres of land. And it was bare land, briars. But it's a beautiful piece of land. And we got $1 million of buildings on that. 6 log cabins for these kids. 2 miles of wheelchair accessible trails. Hey, we're gonna have a wheelchair accessible tree house. I had kids from 4 states come in there, just smiling. I had a dream. That's all I did. I had a dream. I went to bed one night and I dreamed that all these kids were wheeled around and there was able-bodied teenagers having a good time and learning about each other. And everybody was accepted. Nobody was a freak. I woke up from this dream and I said to my wife, I gotta build a camp. She said, well, wait a minute, that was just a dream. I said, I know, but I gotta do it. How you gonna do it? You know, we don't have money for a camp. It costs a lot of money. I said, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. And you can't believe you have no idea what it felt like for me this last summer to see kids rolling on the trails, smiling, going up in hot air balloons for the first time in their life, or watching a cow give birth to a calf. This is just amazing. And they got energized, motivated. They decided to be determined. Hey, John did all this. Paralyzed from his neck down. Wonder what I can accomplish. That's what it's all about. And just recently, we've created a documentary of my life. That's why I'm here in California. It's going to be airing this weekend, premiering. And it's pretty exciting because, I will die. That's a given. But my books, the camp, video, my impact on somebody else's life, that'll go on. And you got to ask yourself, what's that worth? Does that matter? Absolutely. We need more people that are excited about making an impact on people, touching millions of people, not making millions of dollars. You know what? I truly believe that the secret to success is helping other people become successful, lifting other people up. Because when you lift somebody else up, it automatically lifts you up. I have not been depressed a day in my life since I've been in this wheelchair. I know you have a hard time believing that. I have depressing moments. I have, like anybody else, times of despair where I feel, wow, I don't know. But I don't feel depressed. And it's because I don't look at my situation. I don't look down. I'm not stuck on the problem. I look up and I ask myself every day, what can I do to make a difference in somebody else's life? And it is just awesome what happens with that kind of attitude. Just in closing, I know we don't have much time left, but I want to tell you about this smiley guy. I got a little hero. I decided to give up my speaking one day because I wasn't making any money and I was starting to feel the pressures of finances. And I thought, hey, looking at my wife, hey honey, I got to make some money. And my wife, she likes to shop, so, it's important. And she says, yeah, you ought to quit. She tested me. I said, I think that I'm going to go, now that I've been speaking for a while, and there's a few people that know me, I could get a real job, get a paycheck. Because when you're traveling and doing all this stuff, man, it's like a shoestring. And all of a sudden, I'm in the auditorium, gonna give my last speech. And they wheel the kid in there in a wheelchair. Hate it when they do that. And I went over there with my chin-controlled chair, and I says, hey, my name is Ronald Heagy. What's your name? He didn't talk, and I could see that his head was strapped down to his headrest. He had a ventilator machine breathing for him, and good-looking kid. But his eyes were bright, seemed rather cheerful. His nurse said his name was Kevin. I didn't turn and talk to the nurse about Kevin, because Kevin's a human being. I want to talk to him. I said, hey, Kevin, how old are you, man? This nurse said he's 15. I said, what happened, Kevin? His nurse said he was born this way. It's called floppy baby syndrome. I'm starting to feel emotions rise up within my spirit. I'm feeling pity. Not for him, but for me. I said, how bad is it, Kevin? This nurse said, if you're asking about paralysis, he's paralyzed from his nose down. 15 years. He's never tasted Pepsi or had a chocolate bar. He's never been able to have a conversation with his mother or his friends. And I am going to give up my speaking because I'm not making any money. And I can speak. It's my gift. You know, and then his nurse says, Mr. Heagy, had to get Kevin up at about 4:30 this morning to go through all his exercises and suction in his lungs and feeding through a tube in his tummy. But he couldn't wait to get here. Mr. Heagy, did you know that you're Kevin's hero? I began to cry. I'm giving up my speaking today. Excuse me, but what is my motivation in life? What's yours? What really juices you up? What's your passion? What do you want to do? You're born to do something. You got a mission. You're the only person that can accomplish that. Some of you are well on your way, and others of you know that you're not doing what you should be doing. You don't want to look back over your life and wish you would have. Just do it. And I said to myself as I sat there looking at Kevin, I will continue speaking. Because how many more Kevins are out there that need me? And by the way, I need Kevin. Do you know who my hero is? It's Kevin. I couldn't wait to get done with my speech, just to go be with him. He inspires me. He's happy. I got to talking to Kevin's mom. I said, I just want to do something great for Kevin. I will raise money. I got good people that support what I do. What is